Already in this syllabus, already we started the third unit, building blocks for Android application design. Here in this already we complete the introduction to layouts. In that layouts, we complete the linear layout. Next layout is relative layout. Here, what is meant by the here relative layout means, in this relative layout, each child element is laid out in relation to other child elements. Means the location of child element is specified in terms of the desired distance from the existing children. Here desired distance from the existing children. Here in this relative layout, it controls in containers. Containers. Here a new Android project we are doing here, that is called the relative layout app. Already we done a Android project that is called linear layout app. Here this Android new Android project is called as the relative layout app. Here in this we modify its layout file. In this activity relative. In this layout we will modify its layout file activity relative. In this I have appear in this layout app.xml. This is the file name. Layout app.xml. Here this is the code for that. Here in this is the code to arranging the button controls in the relative layout container. Here in this relative layout container, we are having XML, and already we know about these attributes here: Android orientation, Android layout width, Android layout height. Here Android orientation equal to vertical. Here we take the width match parent, we take height with the match parent. Here button, we take the buttons Android ID equal to, we take the text is equal to Apple. Here Android layout width equal to wrap content. Here Android layout margin top equal to 15 dip. Next margin left equal 20 dip. Already we know about these attributes: Android orientation, Android layout width, Android layout height. Here you have to arrange the button controls in the relative layout container. Next, here in this second button is you have to arrange the mango. Here mango, give the text ID equal to mango. First button is apple, second button is mango. Here we give the Android padding equal 28 dip. Here Android layout of layout to right of means here apple. Next margin left equal 15 dip, margin right 10 dip. Here parent top equal to true. Layout align parent top equal to true. Next, here another button is have to add the another button. That button give the text that in that button banana. Here layout width equal to that banana text button, we give the layout width equal to 200 dip, layout height equal to 50 dip. Next layout margin top equal to 15 dip. Here layout below means ID apple. Here we give the layout align parent left equal to true. Here for this code we give another button. We add the another button grapes. Give the another button is grapes. Here here in that grapes we use the layout width equal wrap content. Next layout height equal to match parent. Minimum width for that grapes button 100 dp. We give the layout align parent right equal to true, layout below equal to banana. Here in this next button we give the kiwi. Add these three. These are the buttons. You have to add these buttons to the relative layout. For relative layout, for that you have to add these button controls. First button is apple, second button is mango, third button is banana, fourth button is grapes, next button is kiwi. kiwi button. Kiwi, we give the text is kiwi. Here we give the Android layout width equal to 100 div. We give the Android layout height equal to wrap content. We give the Android layout below means banana. Here padding top equal 15 div, left 25 div, next right 25 div, relative layout close. Here we add these buttons for the relative layout. Here for these buttons these are the you have to use it to the set the positions of the layout controls ma. Here layout control attribute, this is the relative to the container. These attributes used to the set the location of the control relative to a container. Here here first one, Android layout align parent top. Here what is meaning of this attribute means, here the top of the control is set to align with the top of the container. Here container is the relative layout. Here Android layout align parent bottom means the bottom of the control is set to align with the bottom of the container. Here Android layout align parent left. Here the left side of the control is set to align with the left side of the container. Here align parent right. The right side of the control is set to align with the right side of the container. This is the different attributes used to set the positions of the layout controls. Here layout means relative layout. Here next one is the give the Android layout center horizontal. Here this control is placed horizontally at the center of the container. Here Android layout center vertical. Here this control is placed vertically at the center of the container. Here next Android layout center in parent. This control is placed horizontally and vertically. Here only horizontally means horizontally we give the attribute Android layout center horizontal, means this control is placed horizontally at the center of the container. Here Android layout center vertical means this control is placed vertically at the center of the container. Here in this Android layout center in parent means this attribute is placed horizontally and vertically at the center of the container. Here these attributes to control the position of a control in relation to other. Next here next one is the attributes to control the position of the control in relation to other controls are. Other controls means here layout above, layout below, layout to left of, layout to right of. Here Android layout above, the control is placed above the referenced control. Here Android layout below. Here the control is placed below the referenced control. Here the Android layout to left of. Here the control is placed to the left of the referenced control. Here Android layout to left of. The control is placed to the right of the referenced control. Here these attributes to control the position of a control in relation to other controls. Next here these attributes to control the alignment of a control in relation to other controls, means layout align top, layout align bottom, layout align left, layout align right, next layout align baseline. Here layout align top, the top of the control is set to align with the top of the referenced control, means here laying out controls in containers, here that is the meaning of this attribute. Next, the Android layout align bottom. Here the bottom of the control is set to align with the bottom of the referenced control. Bottom of the referenced control. Here Android left align left. Android layout align left here. Here the left side of the control is set to align with the left side of the reference control. Here Android layout align right. Here the right side of the control is set to align with the right side of the referenced control. Here Android layout align baseline. The baseline of the two controls will be aligned here. The baseline of the two controls will be aligned here. Next, these attributes to control the alignment of control in relation to other controls. These are the attributes. Next, before here these attributes to control the position of control in relation to other controls, layout above, layout below, left off, right off, like that. Next, these attributes to use it to set the positions of layout, controls, align parent top, align parent bottom, left, right, like that. These attributes used in this Android project. Here Android relative layout app. We create the Android project by using relative layout app. In that relative layout app, we used these attributes. What is the meaning of these attributes? Here, these are the attributes used to set the positions of the layout controls. Here next these attributes used to control the position of the control in relation to other controls. Next, these attributes that control the align of a control in relation to other controls. Align top, align bottom, align left, align right, align baseline. Means the baseline of two controls will be aligned. Next, for spacing. Here for spacing, Android defines two attributes here. Here for spacing, Android defines two attributes here. What are the two attributes? Means Android layout margin and Android padding. Android layout margin and Android padding. Next, Android layout margin. This attribute defines spacing for the container. Next, Android padding. It defines the spacing for the view. We have to begin with the padding here. The Android layout for spacing, we are using these attributes. Android layout margin. Next, Android padding. Next, Android layout margin. This attribute, it defines the spacing for the container. Next, Android padding means it defines the spacing for the view. Next, if I begin with padding here. First, Android padding. What is meant by the Android padding? Means here it defines the spacing of the content on all four sides of the control. It defines the spacing of the content on all four sides of the control here. Here, to define padding for each side here, first one we are having four attributes: padding left, padding right, padding top, padding bottom. You have to define these four attributes in padding. Here first, Android padding left. He defines the spacing between the content and the left side of the control. We give the space. Here Android padding, it is used for spacing. And margin, Android margin, these two attributes are used for the spacing between the two controls here. First, Android padding means it defines the spacing of the contents on all or four sides of the control. What are the four sides? Means here left, right, top, bottom. First, Android padding top. It defines the spacing between the content and the top of the control. Here next, Android padding bottom. It defines the spacing between the content and bottom of the control. Here next, Android padding left. It defines the spacing between the content and the left side of the control. Next, Android padding right. Here it defines the spacing between the content and the right side of the control. Here the attributes that define the spacing between the control. We are using these attributes. For spacing, mainly we used the Android padding and Android margin. Means here in the Android padding we define these the four sides of the control: left, right, bottom, top. Next attribute is here Android layout margin. Here we have to define the spacing of the control in relation to the controls of the container on all four sides. Padding, we are having the four sides in Android layout margin also. Here to define spacing, we are having four sides defining Android layout margin. In this Android layout margin left, Android layout margin right, Android layout top, and Android layout margin bottom. These are the four options here. Android layout margin top here. It defines the spacing between the top of the control and related control or container. Here it defines the spacing between the top of the control and the related control or container. Here next, Android layout margin bottom. It defines the spacing between the bottom of the control and the related control or container. Here margin topping means you have to define the space between the top of the control and related or container. Here margin bottom means it defines the spacing between the bottom of the control and the related control or container. Here next one is Android layout margin right. Here it defines the spacing between the right side of the control and related control or container. Here the Android layout margin left means it defines the spacing between the left side of the control and the related control or container. These are the four sides. We give the space of the control to define in the Android layout margin. Here these two attributes. What are the two attributes? Android layout margin and Android padding. These are the two attributes to define the spacing of the control. Next here we have to arrange the controls, means in the layout file activity. In the layout file activity relative layout app.xml, it arranges the controls like this here. First the Apple button. Is set to appear at a distance of 15 dip from the top. Next and 20 dip from the left side of the relative layout container. We give that Apple button control. Have to arrange the control like this here. Apple button control is to set to a distance of 15 dip from the top and 20 dip from the left side of the relative layout container. Here next point is the width of the mango button control is set to consume the available horizontal space. Next, the text mango appears at the distance of 28 dip from all sides of the control. Here this code here already we here ma here already we write the code here to create the Android project for relative app. This is the 28 dip, give the space 28 dip and write off id, give the id apple, give the margin left 15 dip, or we learn these attributes here: layout width, layout height, padding, layout to write off. Here we give the spaces, we give the spaces for using padding and layout right width, layout margin, layout right. Next, this is the relative layout. In this relative layout we already we know about the Android orientation vertical. This is the attributes here: give the spacing, or give the for give the space we used this Android layout margin, Android layout, Android padding, that attributes we use it for spacing only. Next, next here these are the different attributes used to set the positions of the layout controls. Next, in these attributes to control the position of the control to other relation controls. Next, this is the text mango appears at the distance of 28 dip from all sides of the control. Here the mango control, here the mango control is set to appear to the right side of the apple control. Here the control is set to appear at distance of 15 dip from the control on the left and 10 dip from the right. Next, of the relative layout container, here the top of the button control is set to align with the top of the container. Here next, the banana button is assigned the weight and height, width and height of 200 dip and 500 dip respectively. Here the control is set to appear 15 dip below the apple control. The left side of the control is set to align with the left side of the container. Next, Next here the control is set to appear 15 dip below the apple control. Here the left side of the control is set to align with the left side of the container. Here next here next here this is the default code in the activity file relative layout activity.java. Here package com dot android unleashed dot relative layout app. Here have to import android app dot activity and import android dot os dot bundle. Next public class relative layout demo and extends activity. Just this is the default code for the activity file relative layout app activity dot java. Here you have to create on create function, have to saved instance state. Here set content view means here relative layout dot activity relative layout app. Here next for that code, when the application is run, output like this. Here apple, mango, banana, kiwi, grapes. These are 5 buttons ma. Here apple, mango, banana, kiwi, grapes. We give the for this buttons we give the space for the button to button. Here banana it give the below. Next under below banana below we give the kiwi. After the 4 buttons we give the margin below this button below grapes. Next when application is run we see the output like this ma. Here we can make the text grapes appear centrally at the top row by adding the following line. Means here we can make text grapes in previous application we give the grapes text center, give the center means horizontally center grapes like this. Here we have to add this following line. Top row means Android gravity equal to center horizontal. Android gravity equal to center horizontal. For that we give the grapes button. Give grapes is come to top row. Here for the apple, mango, banana, kiwi, grapes. Here for example we give the Android gravity for the mango you got here give top row by adding the following line. Android gravity center equal to horizontal. That's why the grapes come to top row. Here for example Android gravity equal to center horizontal. Center horizontal means you give the grapes top row. Here Android gravity equal to center vertical. Vertical means give the for grapes appear grapes. For the center vertical means you give like this grapes like that vertically. We can have to change the attributes like this. We have to add these following lines. Android gravity equal to center horizontal, Android gravity equal to center vertical, Android gravity equal to center horizontal and center vertical like that. Next